One of the most common questions I get asked as an Alexander Technique teacher is, how can I make working at a desk more comfortable? I've spent some time choosing what I think are my 3 best Alexander Technique tips to allow you to work at a desk without discomfort and pain, and I'm really happy to be able to share those with you now. I'm Pete Robinson from movementandposture.com. I'm a qualified Alexander Technique teacher, and my goal is to share the benefits that Alexander Technique can bring to your posture, movement, health and performance. I'll be adding new videos every Sunday, so subscribe to the channel, ding the notification bell to make sure you don't miss out. In this video, I'm going to give you specific advice about working at a desk. I've already made separate videos about how to sit more comfortably and how to avoid shoulder pain, which you may also find useful. I'll link to those above and in the description below, as I'll be covering different ideas in this video. By the end of this video, you will have 3 techniques that you can try out straight away. They do take a bit of practice to fully master, but you should see immediate improvement. Tip 1 is to send your hands away from your back. When working at a desk, we usually have our hands raised in front of us, typing, using touch screens, maybe even writing with a pen if anyone still does that. The issue is that our forward and up movement of the hands is often accompanied by a pulling forwards and down in the torso. It's like we're being drawn in by some kind of extra gravity from the desk. It's a habit that we've all developed because we're more interested in the task we're working on than what's going on in our bodies. Because using our arms has caused us to sit out of balance, the muscles in the neck, shoulders, back and hips have to constantly fight to keep us upright. This extra tightness in our muscles eventually causes pain and restricts our circulation and breathing, which causes us to fatigue even quicker. My tip for breaking this habit is that when you take your hands up towards the desk, you first think of your back releasing and expanding, and your hands lengthening away from it, rather than just moving in your habitual way. By thinking this way, it causes the autopilot to switch off and the movements become more conscious. The aim is to build this into your day as a micro habit. It's a really small change, so it won't feel like hard work. The more consistent you are with making this one movement conscious, the quicker you'll break the association between using your arms and pulling down and stiffening in your body. We're specifically talking about desk work here, but there are so many other times in the day when you could also apply the same idea. When you're cooking, playing the piano, riding a bike, holding a steering wheel, etc. So once again, when you're about to raise your hands to your desk, stop, bring your attention to your back and really think of it releasing and expanding. Then move your hands away from this releasing, expanding back to reach your desk. Give it a try for a few days and see what you notice. Tip number 2 is to keep your feet flat and your legs free. When people talk about being comfortable at a desk, they're usually most interested in feeling more comfortable in the back, neck, shoulders and arms. But what most people don't realise is just how important the position of the feet is to achieving this comfort. Assuming that you're sat in a reasonably balanced way, the best position for your feet is roughly parallel to each other, hanging directly under the knee, and for the angle of the knee to be approximately 90 degrees. You definitely want the soles of your feet to be flat on the ground. Depending on your height and the height of the desk, you may need to adjust your chair up or down, and shorter people may find that they need something to rest their feet on. Some blocks or large solid books are good for this. The reason that this helps so much with comfort at the desk is because if the feet and the legs are not in this neutral alignment, they'll tend to exert a force on the pelvis, which in turn will affect the back and cause the sitting position to become fixed and stiff. You can experiment yourself to see if you can feel this effect. Crossing the legs, crossing the ankles, tucking the feet under the chair or stretching them out in front of you all create different forces into the back. If you really pay attention to yourself, you should be able to notice the effect. Pause the video and have a go if you want. Getting set up with good ergonomics in this way is important, but where the Alexander Technique comes in is in helping us to break our habit of automatically putting our legs into these unhelpful alignments each time we sit. The way it works is similar to the first tip. When you first go to sit down in your chair, Consciously pay attention to yourself as you sit down and quietly notice any tendency for the feet to want to move. If the habit is really strong, you may need to just sit quietly and patiently just for a few seconds until you can feel that you've broken the pattern. Before you start to work, this is also a really good opportunity to break any habit of stiffening your leg muscles when you sit. Most people hold their legs completely rigid when they're sitting, which, as you know, will then cause stiffness in the back and beyond. So, consciously reminding yourself not to stiffen the hips and to leave the legs free can be really useful. You can always give your legs a little waggle to remind them not to fix in place. Learning to consciously prevent any stiffening in the legs in this way makes sitting much more balanced and free. Tip number 3 is to use your peripheral vision. There's a direct link between staring at something and tension in our bodies. Try a quick experiment. Really stare at something in front of you and then notice what you can feel in your body. If I really go for it, I can feel that staring creates tension in my face, my jaw, my tongue, my neck, my shoulders, my back, my abdominal muscles, my hips, legs, and even my toes. How much you notice will depend on how used to observing yourself you are, but hopefully you can feel some effects. The problem with working at a desk is that almost everything we do will encourage us to stare at it. So the Alexander technique approach is to work on breaking the association between looking at something that's really absorbing, like a screen, and going into this tense staring state. One of the easiest ways to do this is to wake up your peripheral vision. Here's how to do it. Go back to staring at something in front of you. Notice that stiffening effect on your body again. Now, without moving the eyes, just become interested in what you can see around the edges or the periphery of your vision. You're still looking at the same object, but allowing the light from the rest of your vision to be noticed too. You'll hopefully notice an immediate release of the tension that staring produced. And you can help this effect even more by allowing yourself to smile a little bit too. The only difficulty is in remembering to wake up this peripheral vision. At the start, you may find that a post-it note next to the screen helps, or even that setting a notification on your phone to remind you is necessary. You can, of course, combine this with the other tips so that you periodically get a reminder to refresh each of these ideas. So, as always, you can see that the Alexander technique tips are based on applying thinking skills, rather than simply adjusting positions, stretching, or exercising. We're looking for the most simple, effective ways to remove the causes of discomfort and pain, rather than treating the symptoms. Having said that, if you're working at a desk now and you're feeling tired and achy, I highly recommend you to try constructive rest or semi-supine for some instant relief. I'll link to that video above and in the description below. Thanks for watching. I really hope that you found this video useful. If you have any questions, comments, or requests for future video topics, please drop me a line in the comments box below and I'll get straight back to you. Hope to see you again soon on another video. Bye for now.